Welcome to Jazz Vespers at United Churches of Langley Online. We welcome you to this beautiful service of weaving music and words of reflection and prayers. Jazz Vespers as a concept of worship began back in the 1960s. There was a pastor who went out and introduced himself and befriended the jazz musicians of his community. And realizing that Sunday mornings are a little bit tough to get up and get to worship service, he created an afternoon worship service based on more of an ancient tradition of prayers in the late afternoons. But bringing the jazz element and music into that, it allowed for a more informal, beautiful way of weaving ministry together with a certain population that really sprung forth at that time in New York. We now do it throughout the Lower Mainland, and now, as you see, we do it online as a way of bringing people together in this unique and beautiful way. Our readings today that you will hear intertwined are from Richard Rohr, Everything Belongs. And so it's a reminder that each and every part of us, each and every part of creation belongs to that center of our being. As we gather here, we gather and acknowledge that we're on the ancestral and unceded territories of the Kwantlen, the Matsqui, the Katzie, and the Semiahmoo people. As we acknowledge this, we acknowledge our desire to walk in the spirit of reconciliation, to walk in the light with our brothers and sisters of these nations as we steward and care for this land. And so we gather and we honor the holy origins of the first peoples of this land and the holy origins of the land itself.
Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Linda Santos. Welcome to United Churches of Langley's first fall Jazz Vespers. If you are new to our live streamed Jazz Vespers, I'm glad that you could make it and you found us. We have a special treat for you today. Our featured artists are Gabriel Mark Hasselbach on the trumpet, flugelhorn, and flute, and Miles Black on the piano. The music you will hear in today's concert was written by both Gabriel and Miles. The music Gabe specializes in is smooth jazz or contemporary jazz. It has its roots in the bossa of Jobim, the smooth jazz stylings of 50s artists like Chet Baker, and also the funky jazz of the 50s and 60s as well. Horace Silver and Blue Mitchell come to mind as exponents. The music is characterized by lyricism. Sometimes it's Latin-y, bluesy, melodic. There's great grooves in this music. Gabe is a well-known, award-winning jazz stylist with a long history of achievement in music. 15 albums to his name, a JUNO, multiple Smooth Jazz Awards. I personally know him. When I was first singing jazz, I would sit in on his restaurant gigs as a singer, back when musicians used to play live music for live audiences. I learned from him what it takes to be professional, what it takes to hold an audience's interest. Gabe would never use charts. He has a great ear. Although he is known for smooth jazz, he plays jazz standards with great taste. Miles Black is a return guest here at United Churches of Langley. He is simply one of the finest Canadian jazz musicians and jazz pianists of his generation. He is a one-man band in this concert. He is the rhythm section, he is the bass player, and he lays down the harmony. We joked after the recording session a couple of weeks ago that we may have to retune the piano, a Sauter Grand, because he gave it a real workout. Gabe and Miles have been making music together for over 30 years. They create a very special atmosphere in this concert, which I was lucky enough to attend. Please enjoy Gabriel Mark Hasselbach and Miles Black.
Hear these words from William Butler Yeats of The Second Coming. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold, Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed. And everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. We are a circumference people with little access to the center. We live on the boundaries of our lives in the widening gyre, confusing edges with essence, too quickly claiming that the superficial is substance. As Yeats predicted, things have fallen apart, and the center does not seem to be holding. Living in this consumer-driven world, we are often infected with what some call affluenza, a toxic and blinding disease that make it even more difficult for us to break through to the center. How do we find what supposedly is already there? I wonder, why isn't it obvious? Why should we need to awaken our deepest and most profound selves? And how do we do it? We do not find our center. It finds us. This next song that you'll hear, Santo Koala, is about a holiday, I'm told. When I looked up where Santo Koala is, it's in the Dominican Republic. But when I looked up the meaning of the word, Santo Koala, in Latin it means holy origin. I like that. It's an invitation to take a holiday in the center of our beings, to let go of the day-to-day life and rest in our truest selves. I like that kind of holiday. Enjoy. a Zen master having a conversation with a student. The student asks, "Is there anything that I can do to make myself enlightened?" Master replies, "As little as you can do to make the sun rise in the morning." And so the student asks a further question, "Then of what use are the spiritual practices you prescribe?" And the Zen master says, "To make sure you're not asleep when the sun begins to rise." The contemplative secret is to learn to live in the now. The now is not as empty as it might appear to be, or that we might fear it to be. Try to realize that everything is right here, right now. When we are able to experience that, taste it, and to enjoy it, and we don't need to hold on to it, the next moment will have its own taste and its own enjoyment. Because our moments are not tasted or full of real or the presence, we are never really full. We create artificial fullness and try to hang on to that, but there's nothing to hold on to when we begin and taste the fullness of the now. If the now has never been full or sufficient, we will always be grasping, even addictive or obsessive. Know that things are okay as they are. This moment is as perfect as it can be. This next song, if you were in a jazz club late on a Saturday night, you might order a single malt scotch, neat. Wherever you are, breathe in and breathe out. Bring your awareness to the now and the now and the now. Allow yourself to breathe in and out as you listen to the song, and maybe even whisper to yourself, "Now," as your mind wanders, and bring it to the now. Or you might try the mantra that says this: "Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still. Be." To become aware of God's presence in our lives, we have to accept what is difficult, particularly for people who live in what is called a success culture. We have to accept that human culture is in a mass hypnotic trance. We are sleepwalkers. All religious teachers have recognized that we human beings don't naturally know how to see. We have to be taught how to see. That's what religion is for. That's why the Buddha and Jesus say with one voice, "Be awake." Jesus talking about staying watchful. And the word Buddha means "I am awake" in Sanskrit. Jesus says further, if your eye is healthy, your whole body is full of light. Spirituality is about seeing. It's not about earning or achieving. It's about relationship rather than requirements. Once you see, the rest will follow. You don't need to push the river because you are in the river. The life is lived within us, and we learn how to say yes to that life if we exist on a level where we can see how everything belongs. We can trust the flow and trust the life so large and deep and spacious that it even includes the opposite, death. I'm wondering how we cultivate a seeing that we can perceive how everything belongs. How might we lean into this life that knows the interrelationality of all life? I want to live like that. As the song says, that way of that look in my eyes that allows for my inner eyes and my outer eyes to see more clearly, to be the windows of my soul and the windows of the soul of the world. May it be so. By and large, what blocks spiritual teaching is the assumption that we already know or that we don't need to know. We have to pray for the grace of beginner's mind. A beginner's mind is a posture of eagerness, of spiritual hunger. The beginner's mind knows it needs something. This is a rare feeling in today's treacherously seductive culture, however. Because it is so immediately satisfied, it is hard to remain spiritually hungry. We must sometimes go into the belly of the whale for a while. Then, and only then, can we be spit out on a new shore and understand our call. We seldom go freely into the belly of the whale unless we face a major disaster like the death of a spouse or a friend or the loss of a marriage or a job. We usually will not go there. That is the great language of religion. It teaches us to enter willingly, trusting that in the dark periods of life that there are good teachers. There is teaching in those dark moments. Religious energy is in the dark questions, seldom in the answers. Answers are the way out, but that is not what we are here for. But when we look at the questions, we look for the opening to transformation. We must learn to stay with the pain of life, without answers, without conclusions, and some days without meaning. That is the path, the perilous, dark path of true prayer. I wonder, why is it that we usually talk about needing to go beyond our comfort zones as something that is outside or beyond us? Yet the biggest comfort zone is the one that is deep within us, that the pathway from living our lives the way we live is our journey to our truer selves. And that is taking that leap outside the comfort zone or beyond the comfort zone to knowing and feeling and experiencing our true selves. If we're not willing to be led through our fears and anxieties, we will never see or grow. We must always move from one level to the level we don't completely understand. Every step up the ladder of moral development is taken in semi-darkness by the light of faith. The greatest barrier to the next level of conscience or consciousness is our comfort and control at the level that we are at now. Our first response to anyone calling us to truth, greatness, goodness, or morality at a higher level will be an increased anxiety. We don't say, "Isn't this wonderful?" Instead, we recoil in terror and say, "I don't know if I want to go there." At the edges of medieval maps, there was frequently penciled in, "Here be dragons." We confront these dragons when we approach the edge of our comfort level. If we haven't been trained to recognize our fears and to let them go, we will feed them. The Cherokee chiefs said to their young braves, "Why do you spend so much time brooding? Don't you know you have been driven by great winds across the sky? Don't you know you're a part of much bigger pattern? And you're not in control of it any more than you're in control of the great winds. You and I are a small part of a bigger mystery. The only people who grow in truth are those who are humble and honest. Without those two qualities, we don't grow. Once our defenses are out of the way and we are humble, truth is allowed to show itself. It is not acquired. It shows itself when we are free from ideology, fear, and anger. I know won't get us anywhere. The truth is, I don't know anything. Only non-knowing is spacious enough to hold and not distort the knowing that is possible. As we head into the next song, listen to the sass of this song, and think of the things that you'd like to let go of. Maybe old thoughts or beliefs or habits or patterns in your life that no longer serve. What are the things that clutter your mind and your heart that don't allow you the spaciousness of a new consciousness, a new way of being? And then hum along with the song. And as you hear the vibes of take that and take that too, and in those moments, let go, release, and be willing to be humble and honest and surrendered. has been our honor and delight to offer you this Jazz Vesper service. I hope you have found the spaciousness of grace in these few moments that we've had together. Your support of the ministries of United Churches of Langley allows for us to offer you this service, to be able to do creative ministry through online avenues, just like this Jazz Vesper service. So after our one final words of reflection and a closing note, there'll be a link appearing on the screen that will allow you a way to give. Whatever you're able to give to United Churches of Langley, we give thanks for your support and your engagement in community with us. So let's hear these final words in our closing note. In talking about letting go of the ego's needs and accomplishments and the need to be less in control, I could be interpreted as overemphasizing detachment. The tension or dance between attachment and attachment is often called the third way. It is the middle way between flight and fight, as Walter Wink describes it. Some prefer to take on the world and to fight it, to change it, to fix it, and rearrange it, while others, the flight people, deny that there is even a problem. Oh, everything is beautiful, they say, and look the other way. Both of them are avoiding holding the tension, the pain, and the essentially tragic nature of human existence. The contemplative stance is the third way. We stand in the middle, neither taking on the world and the form of power and position, nor denying it for fear that the pain it will bring to us. We hold the realization, seeing the dark side of reality and the pain of the world, but we hold it until it transforms us, knowing that we are complicit in the pain and complicit in the holiness. Once we can stand in that third spacious way, neither fighting nor fleeing, we are in the place of grace out of which newness comes. Creativity comes from here, and we can finally do a new thing for the world. We can stop building our kingdom and become usable in the kingdom of God. I'm wondering, what's your third way? What is your way of engaging in the world and in your life, not by fighting or fleeing, but by just being? Being with it, fully engaged from the deeper part of yourself that knows, I am that I am. Let's tempt fate a bit. Let's let the alluring presence of the third way tempt us into more good, more beauty, more truth in ourselves, in our families, and in our world. May it be so. Amen.